A new brand phone that I've been telling you about for quite some time now is finally here.
So guys, welcome back to another episode of Tech Gumbo. And today we have something special. In fact, something that we've been talking about for quite some time now. We're going to be unboxing and taking a look at the first ever device from a brand new company. The name of the company, you ask? Well, it's called Anonymous. Let's go ahead and get started.
So before we dive into all of the details about this device, let me take a moment to introduce myself for those who may be joining us for the very first time. Hi, I'm the host, and on this channel we talk about anything and everything to do with technology and gadgets. With that said, it would mean a lot to me if you would consider subscribing because, as mentioned in the intro, we talk about anything and everything to do with tech. By subscribing, you'll be helping us reach our subscriber goal by December. And if we reach that goal, then we're going to do something special. What that is, you ask? Well, you'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, let's not waste any more time and get right into what you came to see. In the box, you'll find a couple of things, including the device itself. But before we pull out the star of the show, there are a few other items worth mentioning that you will find in the package. One of which is a 30-watt charging adapter. This is a standard USB Type-A charging adapter that comes with a barrel plug on the other end to connect to the charger included with the device. There's also a USB-C to USB-C cable, one end USB-C and the other end is USB 3.1. It's great that they include this because if you already have a USB-C cable lying around, then you can use that instead of the one that comes with the package. You'll also find a set of earphones, a 3.5mm to 2.5mm headphone jack adapter, a transparent TPU case, and of course, the obligatory paperwork. With everything else aside, it's time to pull out the star of the show, the very first device from a brand new company. Let's go ahead and remove the plastic wrap and see what it can do. Guys, let me tell you now that the first thing that caught my attention when holding this phone for the first time was how light it was. For a phone with a 5000 mAh battery, this is impressively lightweight. If I had to make a comparison, this phone feels as light as my iPhone 12 Pro Max. Another thing worth noting is the design. We have a glass front and back sandwiching an aluminum frame, and we have this camera array on the back that kinda looks like a letter you don't really know what it is. But it definitely stands out and gives this phone its own unique look. Also worth mentioning is the fact that we have a very minimal amount of bezels up front, giving it a pretty modern look. And although this is a budget phone, it does have Gorilla Glass 5 protection on the display. That's always good to hear. Taking a look around the phone, we have the SIM card tray located on the left side of the phone. On the right side, we have the volume rocker and power button. At the top of the phone, we have the secondary microphone and speaker, and on the bottom, we have the primary microphone, USB-C port, and the 3.5mm headphone jack. Moving towards the back of the phone, we have the rear-facing camera array and LED flash. And up front, we have the front-facing camera in the middle of the display. Now that we've taken a closer look at the exterior of the phone, let's boot it up and see what it can do. When powering on the phone for the first time, you'll notice that it boots up pretty quickly and takes you straight to the home screen. From the home screen, you can access a global search bar by swiping down from the center of the display or swipe up to access the app drawer. You can also swipe over from either side of the display to access your notifications or control center respectively. Now, there's nothing really special about how the UI is laid out, but what's interesting to note is that this UI is actually based off of Android 10. So although this is a budget smartphone, you still get access to features found in newer versions of Android. One such feature is the built-in screen recorder. Not every budget phone has access to this, so it's nice to see that this one does. As far as the specs of this device, we have a 6.5-inch Full HD Plus display protected by Gorilla Glass 5. Underneath the hood, we have a MediaTek Helio G8. Processor paired with 4 GB of RAM and 128 GB of internal storage, expandable by microSD card. On the back, we have a triple lens camera setup consisting of a 48 megapixel main lens, 2 megapixel depth sensor, and 2 megapixel macro lens. Up front, we have an 8 megapixel selfie camera. Keeping this device powered is a 5000 mAh battery with support for 18-watt fast charging. Finally, this device does come with dual SIM card slots, but no support for 5G. Now, before I give my final thoughts on this device, let me tell you a little bit about the company behind it. Like I mentioned in the intro, The company behind this device is called Anonymous. They are a Chinese electronics manufacturer that focuses on designing and manufacturing mobile phones. The company was founded in January of 2020 and is headquartered in Shenzhen, China. Since its inception, the company has focused on creating devices that offer great value for money, and this device is a perfect example of that. The company intends to launch multiple devices before the end of the year, all of which will focus on offering users great value for money. Now that we know a little bit more about the company behind this device, let's talk about my overall experience with it. Now keep in mind that I've only had this device for a couple of days now, so my experience has been limited. However, in the time that I've had this device, it has exceeded my expectations. Normally, when a company launches their first ever device, it's usually a hit or miss. Sometimes the device is good, and sometimes it's bad. However, in this case, I think they've done a great job with this device, considering it as their very first attempt at making a smartphone. The UI is smooth and responsive, and there are no real issues that I've run into thus far. The hardware is also solid and feels good in the hand. And although the cameras aren't anything special, they're actually pretty decent for a budget phone. I must say that I'm impressed with this first effort from a new company. They've created a device that's not only affordable, but also offers a good user experience. With that said, there are a few things that could have been better. First of all, the cameras could have been better. Though they're decent for a budget phone, they're not the best I've seen. However, I'm willing to bet that as the company continues to make more and more phones, the cameras will improve. Another thing that could have been better is the packaging. Though everything was well protected, the packaging itself felt a bit cheap. However, this is something that can easily be overlooked since the phone itself was well protected. Overall, I'm happy to see another player in the budget smartphone market, and I am looking forward to seeing what they come out with next. If you're in the market for a budget smartphone, then I would definitely recommend checking out this phone. It offers a lot of bang for your buck, and is a great option for someone who doesn't want to spend a lot of money on a smartphone. With that said, that's about it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, then please leave a thumbs up. If you haven't already, then please consider subscribing. Till the next one, I'll see you guys later.